Hi, I'm going to do a review of forum goggles, which I know quite a lot of people that do triathlon, endurance sports, endurance swimming have maybe seen on the internet over the past few years, and we'll just do a quick review on whether these are something you might want to buy, try, or as a lot of people have done, buy them and maybe give them away. So in the box you basically get a charger, you get some nose bridges, and you get the actual goggles, which are just like a pretty cheap pair of goggles to be fair, and then they've got this unit on the side here, which is where all the high-tech gadgetry exists. So at the moment I think they're going for about $280 per month. They've now put, my goggles didn't have, but they've now got the heart rate built into them, which might be a kind of selling point for some, but they go from about $280 to about $320 I think. Plus there's an ongoing subscription, I think it's $100 a year or $99. And someone said to me, after 4 years you've paid $1,000 for a pair of goggles, which is quite an expensive undertaking. So what do they give you? Well, when you've got the goggles in, you get a heads-up display in your right eye when I use them, and it tells you your sort of distance per stroke, your pace, what speed you're going at, which is pace. There's a head coach metric which tells you about head tilt and stuff like that. So it's basically giving you sort of feedback when you're actually swimming, which is quite useful because you can't really get that in your watch when you're swimming. The best use I have for them is if you've got a Training Peaks program from a coach, or like we offer here. Then it goes straight to your goggles, so you don't need to think about it. You know exactly what pace you're swimming at, how long you've been swimming for, what pace you're meant to be swimming at, did you achieve that pace. And they're particularly good, I think, for when you're doing quite a long set. The tendency is obviously to slow down towards the end of that, and you might not be aware of it. So if you're doing a long, say you're doing like a 400, and you got maybe do the first 100 and you're not hitting the pace, then you kind of know quite early on you're not. So you can maybe try and increase the pace, so you just realise that you're not going to be able to get to that pace. So for following Training Peaks programs, I think they're pretty good. What they're not great for is if you're just swimming in a group, in a squad, say, or a busy lane, the actual bit at the side limits your peripheral vision quite alarmingly actually. So people can come in the pool. If you don't realise it and you're standing at the end having a rest, they can actually come in the pool, stand next to you, and you don't realise they're there. And also in general, the vision when you're swimming is pretty poor. It's not the same as just a sort of normal set of speedos or anything like that. So my biggest gripe with those goggles is that the actual goggles themselves are not very good. The smarts that they've put into it, I think, are quite useful, but the actual goggles themselves make the offer not great, because they're just, if you saw them on their own next to a pair of Speedo goggles, you buy the Speedo ones because they just don't feel or look like they're sort of a premium goggle. So that's kind of my thoughts on them. So would I buy them or recommend anyone bought them? It's kind of 50-50, I think. If your use is you've got a coach, you use a Training Peaks session, it goes direct to your goggles, and you're going to swim in a pool, it's not that busy mostly, then they are pretty good. It's a good experience. That's what I use them for. If I'm swimming in a group, I don't use them. If I'm swimming on my own and I've got my session to do, it comes via Training Peaks. That's what I use them for, and it works really well for that. But in terms of other use, using them in a club session or something like that, I don't use them. I just don't feel comfortable using them for that. So would I buy them again? Maybe if sports tech's your thing, and it's maybe something that's going to get you a bit more interested in swimming, and it maybe ups you going from twice a week to 3 times a week, or it gets you swimming your own sometimes when you'd maybe just not bother, then you're probably a good purchase. But if you're going to be swimming in a squad all the time or something like that, then it is pretty difficult to swim with other people around you in close proximity. So I think in reflection and in summary, would I buy them again? 50-50. Maybe if they were on offer or something like that, I'd be more inclined to do it. Okay, thanks.